Hey everybody, I'm back, video 128 of 365. My name is Samantha, I'm a therapist, and I'm doing a video every day for a year to get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing fabulous. How is your persistence going in sticking with the vision that you've created for yourself? Self one versus self two. Are you still stuck in self one? Are you letting your 3D show you who's boss? Or are you showing it who's boss? Because it's up to you to decide. And I know it's hard to ignore the 3D. And it's not about ignoring it. It's kind of just noticing it and accepting it and then saying, nope, I'm gonna go this way now. I'm gonna remember who I am. I'm gonna remember what I want. And I'm going to remember how I wanna feel, at least how you wanna feel. You may not know what you want yet, and that's okay. You're gonna figure it out throughout my videos. I'm gonna be here for you. So you wanna think about, how do I wanna feel? And are my thoughts aligned with that? And what's going on with me? Am I triggered today? If I am triggered, why am I triggered? It's really, really important to get inside your body and make sure you're present internally. Something that I read in The Power of Now over the last couple days, I read that book a long time ago, but I just reread it the last couple days, and he has you kind of like lay down. I think it's in the morning before you even get up, and you just kind of like concentrate on each part of your body for about 15 seconds. Just kind of dwell there for 15 seconds and just kind of think about the parts of your body from head to toe, and just pretend like you're basically putting white light into your body, and to where you're not thinking from your brain, you're thinking from your whole body, and you're the watcher of these thoughts that you're thinking. So it's almost like you're in your body, but you're separating yourself from your thoughts. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that it does. But it's to get you present. And so you want to observe your thoughts. You know, where are they coming from? And where do I feel them in my body? We need to know what emotions are coming up in the body. You need to feel your body. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. I'm an EMDR therapist, so I do, it's EMDR therapy, it's eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing is what that long title is. And I've been doing a lot of sessions lately, and I look at EMDR as like energy medicine, really. It's a therapy technique, but to me, it's just a person connecting one-on-one with another, like a soul to soul, heart to heart contact. And I've had some remarkable results after just one little session with clients. And it's so interesting to me. It's almost like, it's so crazy because the emotion where it shows up in the body, they'll say, oh, it's in my stomach. And then we do the processing. And then I'll ask, well, what do you notice now? And they'll say, it's moved into my chest, or it's moved into my head, or I can't feel it anymore. And then I check in the next week, and that negative core belief that they were holding on to their whole life, that they felt in their stomach, they don't feel that negative core belief about themselves anymore. It is the craziest thing. And so in my doctoral dissertation that I'm writing, in the study that I created, I did 9 people. I had 9 people in it, very small, just very small. 3 people did Joe Dispenza, a Joe Dispenza meditation. 3 people I did EMDR therapy with. And then the third group I did both with. And the results were just as good with EMDR as they were with meditation, just the meditation. And just as good with EMDR and meditation combined. So my whole thing was, can we treat emotional trauma and pain with just meditation? As Joe Dispenza has pretty much proven. We can turn on different genes through changing our thoughts. When we connect to the quantum field and connect with who we truly, really are before the trauma, we unbury ourselves, we can heal anything. There's been people that have grown back a thyroid gland that they had taken out. They regrew it. And Joe Dispenza himself meditated for 6 weeks after he got hit by a truck or a semi or something when he was running. I think he was in a marathon or something. And his spine was basically, his vertebrae were like really bad. They said that, you're never going to walk again, basically, and you're going to have to be in this wheelchair. And he said, hell no, I'm not going to do that. So he started meditating for 6 weeks, 3 hours a day. And anytime he would leave the present moment, he would stop and start over again. And he got so proficient at it that he was able to create a blueprint in his mind of his spinal cord, of a healthy spinal cord. And it ended up, when you give the field, the quantum field, information, it projects out into matter. So he instructed the field to project into matter, his own spine. And then, well, he's walking and just fine to this day. So when I learned about him, I got really curious about neuroplasticity and the ability to regrow parts of our brain and retrain our brain. And not only that, but into the quantum physics side of it, which really excites me. I just love learning about the quantum field and how we connect to it and all that stuff. So there's a lot to be said about the placebo effect as well. A lot of people said EMDR was a placebo effect. And everything is a placebo. It's what you believe will work for you. And as Bashar says, and I take a lot of my information from a lot of different sources. I never stick just with one source. I never recommend anybody say, yep, this is the truth. I think it's so personal that you need to just do your research on anything that I bring up, and you connect with whatever gems you want to pull out of it that resonate best with you. That's what I always suggest. I just love talking about this stuff, and it's helped heal me and others that I know things work, but it's up to the person that hears me if they want to believe it or not. And that's why I say become your own evidence, because when you become your own evidence, it works for you. And so whatever, like Bashar, back to Bashar said, anything, including medication or therapy or anything, is just giving you permission to be more of yourself. Because remember, we are this self is perfect, whole, and complete. But when we are born and let's say we're abused or neglected, or we just have these issues that happen, or we're programmed by other, what I would call unconscious people. They're kind of not conscious, and they're not aware, they're not present, they're stressed, they're traumatized themselves. So they're programming us, and that buries the self underneath all this rubble that doesn't need to be there. And so there's just something to be said about relaxing the mind and connecting to something else that we don't know we're even connecting to, space. There's so much that I could go into with all of this, but the main point here is always just know that all possibilities exist for you, no matter what. Always persist in the knowing of what you're wanting. Never let go of your vision just because you see 2,500 other people that have let go of theirs. Don't do that to yourself. There are so many things that work themselves out that you have no idea how something's going to work out, and it's none of our business. We just need to persist in knowing that what we want can happen and will happen. And you just stay in that state as much as possible. Like I've told you before, create your mental state from inside. Think of a scene, think of something that you want. And I instructed somebody today to actually, she said, my goal is to drive again. And I was like, well, create a scene that implies that you're driving again. And imagine picking up your keys and walking out the door with no pain, and putting the key in the ignition, and imagine driving again. And there's been studies shown that, just imagining certain things light up those areas in the brain, and your brain, again, does not know what is true or false if you're doing it or not. And so I tend to take science, look at it. It's great. It's got value. My study that I did on my own has value. It adds to, the pool of information. But I like to keep it simple again. And there's just been too much evidence of the placebo effect and how things work, prayer, just so many things that work that require just your mind alone, and connecting to something else that we can't see. It's totally invisible. And just trusting that whatever is invisible can become visible. It's like one more thing too, before my battery dies on my camera, is whatever you're focusing on. If you just think about like, nothing changes unless something changes. Nothing changes unless you change. So if you're thinking the same thoughts that you've always thought about anything, again, I go back to self. So we'll just go with self. If you're thinking the same thoughts about yourself every single day, they never really change. You're going to feel this. It would be logical to know this, that you're going to feel the same way you've always felt. Nothing changed. But when you start to shift things into a new identity, so you say, I don't want to identify with this old self anymore. I want to identify with this new self. So I've got to shift over here. So what would this new self feel like? And why do I know that I want to shift from one self to the other? What sounds amazing about this second self? Why am I attracted to possibly changing? What would that make me feel like if I did that? And so you just kind of like have this vision of how do you want to feel first? And then you can start thinking, okay, if this person felt this way, well, they probably wouldn't be insecure about certain things. And they wouldn't even be thinking about, like, really delve into what you're thinking about, because your thoughts are stemming from somewhere. They're not just given to you. They're just like, they're stemming from some belief that you have about yourself, or you wouldn't be thinking those thoughts. So keep that in mind. You wouldn't be thinking the thoughts you think unless you believe something underneath. So we want to get to the root, because we don't want to treat symptoms. And that's, as a therapist, that's something I have just never liked. That's why I've always done tons of research outside of the practice that I do, and spent so much money and so much time trying to figure out, okay, how do we make services available for people who can't afford it, or whatever the case is. It's like, I want something to be accessible to everyone, and that is the mind. And it has to be trained, though. We need mind trainers. I'm going to be a mind trainer, and I'm going to pass it to you, and then you can pass it to others, and then we're all mind trainers. This is what we're doing. We're getting our reps in, and we're keeping stuck to our vision. Don't stick to your old self. Stick to your new self. Pretend like there's glue, it's super glue, and you're just stuck to your vision. Just put glue all over your body, stick to your vision. Just pull yourself off the other, and just put yourself onto the new one. And just visualize that. You're gluing your body. Just visualize it, literally. That would be painful, but I hate super glue. But anyways, I always get it all over my finger. I don't know how that happens. But visualize, 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 just to create that internal state. Close your eyes and do it, and then open your eyes and practice staying in that state all day, as much as you can. Because remember, you created it already in your mind. So why not just enjoy that feeling? And the more you do that, the more you're going to have a better quality of life. And you're going to see what shows up in your reality. It's going to show up. And things are going to happen. And look at everything that happens, no matter if you define it as good or bad, positive or negative, it's got a lesson for you. Look at it. Say, oh, thank you for this gift of causing me to feel angry. Thank you for this. Thank you so much. Okay. Look at every event, every person, every event, every text, every phone call, every ticket you get if you got pulled over. Look at everything as, wow, I wonder why this showed up. This is interesting. Thank you. And you want to look at the feeling that comes up. What did it trigger inside of you? Because that's lying dormant in you. And that is affecting how you're perceiving everything in your life. It could be. So just check it out. Have fun. Be curious about yourself. Get to know yourself better. You can do this. You got this. So I'm going to keep pounding this into your brain, into your little brain, and we're going to get your reps in. We're doing the brain gym. You've come to the right place. I will never go against this stuff. I love it. It's so fun. And you guys have fun doing your own research. Look up Esther Hicks, look up Wayne Dyer, look up Neville Goddard, Bashar. It's all just kind of the same information. The Bible, it's all in the Bible too. This is all kind of the same thing. It's just packaged differently. And whatever you believe, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I welcome everyone that believes whatever they believe, and I'm never going to ask anybody to believe everything that I'm saying either. You become your own evidence. That's why I say that. Become your own evidence, experiment with things, and see what works best for you. because I know what I know about me and what I've seen in my world. And that's why I like to pass it along, because I love to be super positive. I cannot stand to feel bad, and I cannot stand to see people feeling bad when I have some of the answers that might help them. That's just kind of who I am. So I hope something helped you with this. If it did, please share it with somebody that might benefit from this. And as Damon Darling says, please smeesh and smash and mash and meesh the like button and the subscribe button, please, if you'd like, if you feel like you should. And yes, I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful evening. Take care.